Alright, hey everyone, this is Ash. Welcome back to the King's Speech. So before we dive into Akane chapter 23 here, just kind of a quick TLDR update in lieu of an actual channel update because there really isn't much to say. So expect the Yona read-throughs to return sometime next week. And as planned, hopefully I'll also be caught up with Akane-Banashi by then, so I can do these as weekly, chapter reaction reviews. Apart from that, no real plans to start any other series this year, at least, 'cause I still want to catch up with as much of Yona as I can for this year. But next year, I'll probably bring Battle Angel Alita back into the rotation once I've got a chance to get my hands on the Mars Chronicle volumes. So without further ado, let us dive into it with Akane-Banashi, Chapter 23, or Story 23. Not looking good already with chapter Story 23 Lull, with story by Yuki Suenaga and art by Takamasa Moe, with Rakugo supervision by Keiki Hayashiya. And as Akane is making her way onto the stage, you have Guriko going, "Good. She doesn't seem nervous to be on stage in front of Master Isho." You have a whew as he lets out a deep breath. And of course, translation by Stephen Paul, lettering by Snira Aaron. And Guriko goes, "But that only means she's prepared to fight. This is where the real battle begins." After the previous two performances, the audience thinks the competition has already peaked. All the tension in the room is gone and there's a lull. How will she perform in such a hostile environment? And you see her starting off with, "In a world where lies and falsehoods abound, the preciousness of children is a universal truth, or so they say." I love fucking Isho's just like steepled his hands and is just like looking fully intent. Jeff, they also say that you won't understand that until you've had a child to cherish for yourself. And Jeff, Akane's story is Chugumu. Jeff, well, what are we going to do, dear? It's been nearly 7 days since the baby was born. All right, it's the 7th day already, isn't it? It's like, of course, the 7th night is the Oshichiya naming ceremony. It's important. He's like, "The Oshichiya, huh? I didn't know that. Does that mean I should, I think that's an extra I in there. Does that mean I should go to the Shichiya pawn shop and tell them I've got a new baby to pawn?" It's like, "Now's not the time for stupid jokes. It means we need to give the baby a good name already. You don't expect him to go his whole life without a name, do you?" It's like, "Well, that's a good point." It's like, "Why don't you go to the temple and ask them to name him?" The temple? Now that's just crazy talk. A temple's a place where you mourn the dead. If we go there to get a name, it just means the baby's going to die an early death. It's like, "No, that's not true. The monks at the temple give you a name. It can turn your innate bad luck into good fortune, leading to a longer and more prosperous life. Go quickly now and ask the monk to come up with a good name." And you see Karashi going, "I don't know." And Akane's like, Akane continues though with the father's voice going, "If you say so, it must be true. I'll be right back." He's like, "It's just bland." And his friend's like, "Karashi." It's like, "I'm not just saying that for kicks. She's talking real smooth with a nice tempo. But in the prelims yesterday, she had the crowd murmuring over her skills before she even got to the tongue twister." And as Akane's continuing, "Hello, your holiness? Are you here?" It's like, "But today's different, isn't it?" She looked at the audience and must have known right away she's not going to win. Still, it doesn't seem like a good reason for her to just give up like that. What a letdown. And Hikaru's like, "She might have gotten a little too lax since the prelims, but..." And you see her thinking back to Akane telling her, "Tomorrow I've got to put on some Rakugo that won't shame my master's name." It's like, after all that big talk, would she really just stop trying? Java, "What's the matter, sir?" It's like, "Well, you see, wise one, my wife and I just had a child." And he's like, "Oh dear, it died already?" It's like, "No, don't go killing off my baby like that. Anyway, my wife says that if you name the baby for us, it'll live longer." Zikashi kind of just looking a little disgruntled, going, "She's way more low-key today. In the prelims, her technical skill was so much more at the forefront." And you say going with the... As Kashi was like, "You seem to be enjoying yourself." She's like, "Huh? Does it really seem that way to you?" It's like, yeah, is this more your style? She's like, I don't know if I'd say that, but it's a lot like when I listen to anime or it's a lot like when I listen to the anime or the radio in the background while I'm working. You can just sort of let your mind wander and still enjoy it. It's easy to listen to. And Kaji was like, huh, interesting. Good point. Her Rakugo is less stressful to listen to because it doesn't demand our attention in the same way. After two powerhouse performances that put the performer's strengths on full display, the audience could use a bit of a break. This light touch feels just right. As evidence of that, you see everyone kind of just like trying to just cross their arms, kind of just like tuning in. So the audience is very relaxed right now and listening. Guriko's like, yeah, it's not bad. The most important thing during a performance is holding the audience's attention. You can't just push and push and push the whole time. He thinks of the example, is thinking of someone like doing a love confession, being like, I love you, I love you, I love you. The girl being like, It's like you need an approach that matches the other side's needs. And he imagines instead someone kind of like gently placing a milk carton on their desk with a hang in there. It's like I can't help but notice that the competitive air in the room has dissipated. So this feels like a regular pro-professional. So feels like a regular professional paid event. And you see the teacher going, excuse me. I feel like I need to burp, but I can't burp. Why isn't she performing with the same intensity as yesterday? Is it because it would backfire on her? The audience feels the nerves of competition and the heat of all the effort being expended. So a cooler tone is just what they need right now. Imagine Akane just like fanning the audience as they're gently resting. It's like Rakugo isn't always about bringing on the heat with your performance. So Miss Osaki's really good at adapting on the fly, you mean? And Koguma's like, I didn't say that. She's just meeting the audience's needs. And you see, anticipate what the other person wants and be ready to do it. It's simple Kiwataraki. Please the audience you have in front of you. She's handling the situation like a professional Rakugoka would. But will it pay off or flame out? And he goes, the stage is set. Let's see what you've got. Alright, so I will say I had some doubts or hesitations after the first initial chapter where she is kind of doing the whole like, oh, I know, Jugumo's not about just, saying the name really, really fast. And then Akane going on stage and kind of just like really doing that without really giving us the hint or the idea that, there was another kind of layer or level to her plan. But I'm glad that, after like kind of, I don't want to say tricking the audience, but after like the last chapter, like the emphasis is kind of like, oh no, the audience is going to be kind of full and tensed up, like, how is Akane going to kind of impact, like make her impact felt or known. My kind of mind was like, all right, well, she'll have to kind of overpower the performance one of her own, like with equal intensity. But I love how this chapter kind of flips that idea on its head with like, no, that'd be the exact wrong thing to do because the audience is already overwhelmed. Adding on more pressure on top of that wouldn't make it better, kind of make it worse. So it makes sense that, Akane's performance is kind of like slowly starting off like to ease the audience into it before you kind of ramp up or get into like a higher gear. So I appreciate that we're kind of seeing like the layering to, I think, well, at least we're seeing the first steps into like the layering. I think she's going to put in the story where she's going to put all the steps she's learned, all the basics that she's learned into play into the story to kind of show how far or how much she's grown since becoming an apprentice. But yeah, so I'm really looking forward to that. I do like the example that was used of like the idea of like, oh, it's kind of having like that, what's that the YouTube thing where they do that, where they have like soft noises and stuff playing when it's like supposed to calm you down and like people like listening to it's like it's supposed to be soothing. Like it seems to be like that kind of effect or thing is what they're kind of trying to say that they're going for. But yeah, really like this chapter. Looking forward to seeing where it goes from here. So yeah. So with that said, I hope you all have enjoyed this video, and as always, thank you all for joining me. If you did like this video, please do like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Especially liking and commenting and subscribing really does help me a lot because the YouTube algorithm rewards it when people push the buttons on the videos more so than views do for the algorithm. So if you wanted to, do the like, comment, subscribe, it would be greatly appreciated. It would help me out a lot with promoting my videos to a larger audience. So yeah, so with that said, like I mentioned at the start of the video, I'm going to try to catch up with the series hopefully throughout the week. The plan today is to get out 5 chapters, and then hopefully by next weekend I'll be fully caught up with the remaining ones. Yeah, and hopefully if you can all would love to also help me get to the magic subscriber number this year, I would also be greatly appreciated. Till next time, this is Ash. I'll talk to you all later.